So I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about thought. So thought's not something we really spend much time talking about or thinking about. But you're having 60,000 thoughts a day, according to psychologists. No idea how they work that out. But 60,000 thoughts a day. Constantly, thought after thought after thought after thought. You're like a bubble machine, okay? Constant bubbles, constant thoughts, just constantly being generated. And wherever your thoughts go, they take you. So whilst you're listening to me, your thoughts are focused on me and you're having the experience of me and all this. But there will have been times during this talk where your thought was doing all sorts of other things. Like talking to yourself talk in your head, making judgments about me or about this or about whether you agree with it or whether you don't. Your thought goes off and starts thinking about the deal you're working on at the moment. In the moment that it goes off there, I disappear, and before you know it, you're thinking about your customer or something. Or you could have drifted off and been thinking about someone at home or someone you care about. But basically, thought is this incredibly powerful energy that's created in our psychological system that's going on all the time. And it's going on without us really thinking about it or being aware of it. It's also the thing that distracts us. So in a conversation, how much of the time are you actually there, present in the conversation, as opposed to being in your head and, you look like you're looking and listening, but actually you're only half there. Does that make sense? You can see that on people. Sometimes you can pick it up, or sometimes you just ignore it because you haven't picked it up yourself. So thought is this incredible energy that is creating your human experience. So what thought does, these 60,000 thoughts that are going on constantly are creating the experience that you have of everything. And so let me just give you different examples of this. So let's just take a dream, for example, just to look at the power of thought. So there you are, you go to sleep at night. So actually all of your senses largely shut off. And before you know it, you're having a dream. And you wake up in a hot sweat, you've had this really vivid dream, and oh my goodness, you've turned up late for the alarm didn't go off and you've missed your last exam for your degree. And you wake up in a hot sweat, it's vivid, you're really annoyed with yourself, and all of it actually takes you about 10 seconds to calm down and go, don't worry, you're 49 years old, Martin, don't worry. Look, the degrees or the certificates on the wall, it's okay, it's just a dream. But what that's an example of, it's the power of thought. The power of thought is that it creates the experience that we have moment by moment, and it creates the experience, and it then gives us immersive feeling in the moment that we have the feeling. And whatever the thought is focused on and doing that's the experience we're having, and then that's the feeling that it generates. Daydreams are the same thing. I could ask you right now to think of someone you love and visualize them and see yourself being with them. And in the moment that you do that, again, I can disappear, and you can see that person and you can see yourself with them. And as you do that, if you do that well, then actually you feel the feeling of being with that person. So there's this incredible psychological energy that's going on, that's creating your experience, often regardless of actually what's going on outside here in the outside world. So what we say really is that your mind is like a movie. It's creating an experience. It's creating a movie that you're watching. So there you are, you're in the front row of the movie that you're watching and experiencing, which is your life and every element of your life. So you're watching the movie and you're seeing the good things and the bad things. It's a bit like Jurassic Park, right? Sometimes there's exciting bits and fun bits and then there's scary bits where the dinosaur jumps out. And as the dinosaur jumps out in the movie that is your life, you jump up and you're scared and you're worried or you're frustrated or you're running or you're nervous or whatever you are, because the dinosaur looks and feels real. But what I'm suggesting to you is that it's the thought that's creating your entire experience of the dinosaur. The movie that you're watching, the way that you see Brexit, the way that you see Oracle, the way that you see yourself, the way that you see your boss or your partner, the thinking that you have about the amount of money you've got or how successful you are or how much life balance you have or not, that's all part of the movie that your thought is creating that you then experience and live within. So what I'm talking to you about here is that the reality that you're creating through your thought is an illusion. Now I'm going to look at this a little bit further in multiple ways, but basically thought's coming along and it's creating your reality, and you're living within your reality like it's real. The thinking that you've got about your life or your career or your target this year or H2 or Oracle and so on and so on. You're living within that experience as your reality, but it's an illusion. Albeit, as this very clever man said, albeit an extremely persistent one because of the immersiveness of our thought. Now, again, this is backed up by the latest neuroscience I might talk a little bit about in a minute. Philosophers have been saying this for centuries. Actually, again, some of the ancient religions point to this very point about what our thought is doing and what the mind is creating for us.